Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Augustus Hinton. Today I'll be teaching you how to create this hand-drawn line animation in After Effects over live footage. I'll be using a clip from a video by Rachel Waldorf. She is both an influencer as well as my best friend and roommate. And she's graciously allowed me to use this clip for the tutorial because I thought it would lend itself well for what we're trying to do. I'll link below to her channel and the full version of this video, as well as to the tablet that I'm using, just because I know that will be different from person to person. And let's dive in, let's do it. All right, in my composition, which is 1920 by 1080, I have identified a clip of this video that I want to do this animation with. You can see Rachel is doing a little twirl here. There's some fun movement that I thought would lend itself well to this style of animation. So what we're gonna do is, in our composition, we're going to double click this layer so that we're in the layer window versus the composition window, which is important. And then we're just going to hit Command B or Control B or the little brush icon, the brush tool, to bring up the brush, the paint function. And you want to make sure that your duration is single frame so that when you're drawing on this, it doesn't last for like the whole video, since we're doing this frame by frame. And you know, the other settings you can adjust as you'd like, but you have brush settings and brush size and all of that. Pick whatever you want to do. I have just been using like pretty default stuff because that's been working well for what I need. So I'm going to do like a size 19 brush, and it's important to plan out what you're thinking because since this is frame by frame and we're not doing the more traditional keyframes, you're going to want to have a plan as you look at this versus just kind of winging it. Maybe that's not your style, but if you're anything like me, you'll need a plan. So what I think I'm going to do is maybe do some lines that accentuate this sort of hair flip, and then maybe a little burst since we get this sort of FaceTime moment right here, and then maybe a line or two that sort of swooshes around her as she twirls to sort of add to the motion that she's already doing. So we're going to do a little whoosh for the hair, a little boom boom burst to draw some attention to her face, and then maybe something that swoops around in the same way that her sort of shoulders do. All right, frame one, here we go. And we're just gonna sort of not trace, but kind of follow the sort of tip of her hair, her ponytail whipping in the air. And so let's kind of look at this arc before we start, because once you start, going back takes a lot of time. So it kind of goes, we start here, but it's kind of going out and then up like this. And so I think that's important to be aware before we begin. So let's go back to frame one, kind of start. Let's just do 3 dots that'll become 3 lines. Maybe kind of like a center guy and then 2 followers. That kind of just go along with the line of her hair. So we're kind of just going to replicate this motion here. And this doesn't have to be perfect, but I will say the closer to perfect you can get it, the better it's going to look. The more consistent you are with where things have ended and where things are starting is going to really help this. And, you know, going back and forth to see where you've been and where you're going to go is important. Do it often because that will take this from looking kind of shaky to sort of, more professional and smooth. So let's, we're kind of like having a curving moment right here. So let's just do that. And let's see. I think I could afford to make these dudes a little longer. And now we have quite a sort of a larger jump on this next one. So let's do a little longer. Let's do something like that. And then even longer. Here we go. And let's see, let me go forward to see what this does. So it kind of goes up and then down. We can kind of just have it fly off the screen. So this is kind of like a fleeting moment. And we'll just have it kind of continue in its path. Redo that. Wham bam. Continue. Even if you think that maybe for this next frame, well here, let's do it. We'll do one more. Even if you think that these would be off the frame on the next one, I think it's important to, even if you just do a little nubbin, to give the viewer one last frame of information, of reminding them sort of like with a bit of follow through that this is where this was. So it just helps them register the motion a bit more. Since this was still only like 6 or 7 frames, it's important to do just like that little tiny reminder to help them register the hard work that you just did. All right, let's see if that looks even kind of okay. Nice, okay. Let's add something to it so it has a bit of depth. Let's go like, oh gosh, let's just do sort of like a brighter green with it to add. Here we go, first frame. Let's just kind of do like an additional guy on the left that sort of follows them. So let's kind of just do the same thing, but follow them. And even though I could have done this while doing the purple or pink lines, obviously I didn't, and the reason is it's just going to take time to switch between your colors every single time you do this, but also you just develop the muscle memory of, you know, sort of doing even just this line, this line, this line over and over. And so I found it much more efficient to, reminder, just do sort of one line through its entire motion or its entire arc or whatever, and then going back and doing the others, because that's just going to be easiest for your hand to repeat versus doing a new motion each time. All right, so we've got this fun little laser beam happening. I'm going to say that that's exactly how I want it, because it totally is. And let's kind of have this sort of down moment where she kind of is at her lowest. Let's have a little burst come out there, because I think that's going to be fun. We'll actually have it start 1 frame prior. Sorry for this freeze frame, Rachel. Let's use this green color again, and let's do like a little bit bigger. Let's make this brush size 30. Cool. All right, let's again do just some dots starting. So these bursts are going to come out sort of horizontally. So let's redo that. Make this a bit more of an arc around her. We'll do next frame, and this is where we're going to want to, instead of doing the 6 of these at once, or, you know, frame by frame, we're going to do 1 at a time, and I promise it won't be that bad. Okay, let's start with this guy here. We're going to make him go up this way, and then we'll do the next frame a little bit longer and just further away from the starting point. 1 more. And you'll just kind of feel it out, how long you want this to last, how long of a burst should it be, or whatever you're trying to do. Oops. And just remember that, you know, it's going to take quite a few frames for this to be on screen for any real amount of time. And we're going to see how that looks. That looks kind of fun. Great. A fun little burst. And 1 is done, so let's go and do the others. We'll start with this guy here. remember he was there, and we'll do mimic that shape, but just have him go horizontal, and then next, and next. Maybe a bit shorter, a bit shorter, swoop, maybe a little smaller, and then a tiniest dot, just as a reminder for one more easy Raven follow through. Great, I'm gonna continue on to the other ones, probably speed it up the video as I do it, just because I think the idea is gonna be the same for the rest of these. I can provide a couple tips and tricks that I've learned just from doing this a few times. If you struggle to draw like I do, which I definitely do, just because I'm used to using the mouse or a computer so much, don't be discouraged. After like one project doing this, I was so much more confident and felt just like I could use the tablet much more easily and felt like my lines were much more decisive than they were when I started. So if you're experiencing sort of just like coordination struggle like I was, don't give up hope. Your body, your sort of muscle memory will develop and you'll get used to it, just like you do anything else with practice. So don't give up there. And if your tablet has a little sort of clicker thing on it that you can use as a right click, sort of where your fingers go, mine also does, and I learned that I hate it because every time I tried to do a line, I accidentally clicked that and then it brought up like my brush size and then I was interrupted and it was super annoying. But you can go into your settings of your computer and delete it, or not delete it. You can turn that off, and that has improved my workflow drastically because I'm not right clicking now every single time that I try to draw a stroke. All right, that's looking pretty good. And now let's sort of use her shoulder kind of swinging out here as a guide for one last little flourish of stuff. Let's have it be, okay, let's start with this pink color again. Go a little bit larger, we'll do say like 19 pixels. We'll just do like one sort of here. It's gonna sort of come from behind. So we'll just start with a little dot, next frame, and then maybe something like that where it starts to come out from behind. Next frame, still letting you know that it's coming from behind, but coming out a bit further. Next, still letting you know it's from behind because that's still only like 4 frames of that info. And then an arc to go around her, making it a bit bigger as you sort of come towards the camera, so just pushing down the pen a bit more. Next, we're just kind of, that looks pretty good. Keep it on. Next, further out. Let's do one more. That feels a bit not good. The curve is something that you'll want to try to get the same each time, even though that for sure wasn't. But that just is what makes it look very jumpy when it's not matched perfectly. And see how the shoulder motion is going. Nice. I'm actually going to back up to get a more macro view of this. Nice. Okay. I think that looks nice. It seems like you can tell that it's interacting with her shoulder or interacting with the space. Now we're just going to continue to build out the sort of spiral, just kind of like lose its momentum and kind of like putter off, because I think that'll provide some nice follow through, and it's not, I don't think, super difficult to do in terms of sort of complex lines that you can draw. So let's continue. We're going to continue to build this shape into a spiral. And also remember that we need to push it out to the right. So the shape itself is transforming and its position is transforming as well. And that can be difficult to keep track of, but I have found that the faster you do it, I'm not cruising through this because I'm confident. I'm trying to go quickly because that's less time that I can forget what I've already done or where this sort of should be. So if I just kind of consistently move it, my brain will remember more easily. And now that we're getting near the end of this, I already gotten now that I've looked away. Okay. Let's now continue to do what we're doing, but just make it a little bit smaller each time, so it kind of disappears down. So let's go a little smaller till it's kind of just nothing. And we can do a lot of these frames, A, because they're easy, and B, if you think of easy easing, you know, whatever you are animating, this is important because it, you know, you have all those frames squished at the end as a nice reminder of where this thing already was, and it provides a bit more organic looking motion too. Nice, okay. I feel like I don't mind that at all. The timing's a little weird because it kind of speeds up in the middle there, but we'll just call that wind, you know? And now, because we are freaking professionals, we're gonna add some little friends for this guy in this green color. On my brush tool, I can hold Alt or Option, grab that color, and let's do a little bit smaller of a brush. I think this was 19, let's do 13, which is the default, but whatever. Let's see. We can have this kind of start at the same time, so let's do two little friends there. Next frame, I'll just focus on the top one for now. I'm gonna try to have this take just a bit longer to leave her shoulder, because I think the motion happens a little quick for the pink one, and so this is a good opportunity to sort of correct what we've done. So instead of redoing this, just kind of, if we have this green one take a bit longer, this now provides sort of that follow-through information, because we can see where this has come from, so it helps the viewer remember the path that we were on even more easily. And we'll just have him, let's see, go like this. He's also gonna do that. I need to back up because this close-up view is not gonna help my sort of overall position that I need to keep track of. And so now that we have this, it is a little bit easier just to get the position portion of this right. So we're going to continue to have this spiral on, and also sort of continue on its spirally path, if that makes sense. And I can see this one's getting shorter. That reminds me that I need to make this guy a little bit smaller for these last few frames here. Easy peasy. Sure hope that looks good. Nice, okay. I don't mind that one bit. It's fun, it's energetic, and all we have to do to finish this shot out is this dude. So we'll have him, this will be the easiest of them because we already have the pink dude. We've got this other green one now too, to sort of guide us where we should be in relation to the this main one. Not that it has to be symmetrical, but I think I would like for it to be kind of close at least. There we go. Cruising through it. Again, because the muscle memory just makes it easier. Here we go. Gonna back up just a little. And then for fun variation, we're gonna have this guy spiral the other way. Just like that. Continue in his path. We're gonna do our best, which is good enough, to make this spiral. Okay, let's start reducing size a little. Here we go. Getting to the end. How exciting. Okay. I feel confident enough that's going to look pretty good. Nice. We've added to the motion that she's already creating. We've sort of emphasized this little moment of eye contact, which is always nice in videos, and this little shoulder motion too. Oof. I will say that that last little bit looks a little insane, this last dude. So maybe be a bit more conservative with how quickly your spirals spin if you want to do this animation as well. But that's it. All you have to do is remember to click on your layer, double click to be in the layer window, Command B to bring up the paint window. You can adjust your settings, and then the main thing to remember is remind your viewer where you've been and kind of where you're going. Remember to give them the anticipation and the follow through, and to be as consistent as you can with these lines, because that is going to be what makes it look smooth and nice, and it's going to communicate your idea. Those are the most important things to remember. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you liked it, please like the video, comment, subscribe. It's so much appreciated, and it helps my channel and it helps me. Thank you so much, and have a great day.